Thanks, Bill. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Unlocking Precision and Efficiency with Attribute Rules for Public Safety. I'm just going to give a general overview. So in this session, we're going to talk about how to use attribute rules with NG911 address points and road centerline data in order to enhance accuracy, automate address information, and ensure data consistency with our validation rules. So just a general explanation of what attribute rules are. Attribute rules in ArcGIS Pro, they serve to enhance efficiency by ensuring the creation and maintenance of accurate and consistent data. These rules come in three types. They're calculation, constraint, and validation rules. And in our demonstration, we'll go deeper into that and show examples for each rule. So the premise for using these attribute rules with our address data overall is to prevent human error when making edits to the database, such as typos and adding data to the wrong field. We also want to increase efficiency by automatically updating those address fields, like your legacy street fields and your direction fields and the concatenated full street name fields. And we also use validation rules to use quality control during data cleanup in order to pinpoint where those errors lie in the database. And I'm just going to go right into the demo so we have plenty of time to go over that. This is a 911 data set with our address points, road center lines, and all of our boundaries. We're going to be focusing on address points and road center lines for this demonstration. And I'm just going to start from the beginning. I'll show you where to go to get to the attribute rules. So whatever layer you want to apply your attribute rules to, you're going to right click on it. So in this case, we're going to use our address points. We're going to go to data design and then click attribute rules. And this is where you have your calculation, your constraint, and your validation rules. And then you can also add in your rules up here as well. I'm just going to start with a calculation rule, a very simple one. We're going to start with, we're going to do latitude and longitude. So you just want to give it a name. So this one is going to be latitude. Do the latitude calculation. And then you just want to give it a nice description, like what kind of calculation you want it to do. In this case, we just want it to calculate the latitude. We'll just say calculate latitude, that's fine. All right, and then here is where you're going to point to what field you want it to automatically update. In this case, we want it to update the latitude. So we're going to click the latitude. And then you can type in your expression here. It's going to be an arcade expression, or you can expand it, which is what I like to do. And then you can see all of our fields as well as the different types of functions we can use. And then we're just going to do a simple geometry function. And you want to type feature. And then this is going to be, latitude is going to be Y. So this is just to make sure that your expression is valid, the check mark. I always click it and then click OK. And then these are your triggers. You want to, so in our case, we want our latitude to automatically populate when we create a feature and when we update. So if we move an address point, we want the latitude to automatically update when we move that point. So I'm just going to click those. And then I'm going to do the same thing for longitude. And then your field, for this one, it'll be the longitude field. And this one is X. And we'll do the same thing with the insert and the update. And we're going to save our rules. And now, since we only have one rule, when we create our feature, it should only calculate the longitude and the latitude. So I just created an address point, just a random point, and so there's nothing in there. And then we have our latitude and our longitude. And for this function, whatever coordinate system you're in, it's going to automatically update in that coordinate system. So for this case, it's a custom Wisconsin coordinate system. So that's why it's not in WGS 84. And I'm also going to show you the update. So if you want to move this point, say across the street or something, it should automatically update those features. So you see that that worked. That's good. Let's go to, so I'm also going to add in the legacy street pre-direction. So we're going to calculate the abbreviated legacy street pre-direction from the full drawn out street pre-direction field. And give it a nice description. So calculates legacy street pre-direction from street name pre-direction. And then again, you want to choose the field. In this case, it's going to be the legacy street pre-direction. To save time, I'm just going to copy and paste this function or this expression. Okay, so this expression, the first line is saying if the street pre-direction, if that field is empty, not field, if that attribute is empty, then return null. And then the second line is a decode function. It's saying to decode into an uppercase value the legacy street pre-direction from the full drawn out street pre-direction. So it'll update into the legacy street field from north to north and so on and so forth. So we just want to make sure that it's valid, and it is. Click OK. And this is another one where we want it to be updated. Then click Save. So now if we want to add a street name pre-direction, I already have all the domains set up from the state schema template. So say we want to do south for the pre-direction, it should automatically update S into the legacy street pre-direction. So that eliminates one place that you have to manually enter. This way you can save some time. And you can also reverse it too. So if you just want to update the legacy street field and have it go from the abbreviated S to the full drawn out, you can do that as well. You just have to reverse the decode function. And then I'll show you how to import some of these rules. So I just have some already pre-configured for this demo. So I'm just going to add in these calculation rules. Okay, and then, yeah, so this legacy street post direction, this is going to be the same exact rule as this, except it's pointing to the post direction field instead of the pre-direction. And then this legacy street type calculation is the same, generally the same as that with the decode, except it's with every single street type or street type name that you can think of. So that's what that looks like. And then all of these full street name calculations, abbreviated full street name calculation, these are all just simple concatenated expressions. So you have your array, and then you have your values, and then the concatenated function. And then these are going to be the same as that, just with different fields. We are going to save. All right, so now if I wanted to update the street name, say I wanted to do, I'll just say Menzel Street. It should automatically update your full street name. And if you wanted to, you can also have your street name point to the legacy street name with a different attribute rule. I don't have that set up though, so we're just gonna leave it how it is. And then you have your abbreviated full street name. And I'm just gonna pick a random community. And then there's your full street name community. So instead of having to manually type in all of those, you eliminated some of those steps. So now I wanted to talk a little bit about constraint rules. So constraint rules are pretty much what they say. It constrains you from doing a certain thing, so it prevents you from editing the wrong thing. I'm gonna import another rule. Okay, so this constraint rule comes from the address data management solution. They have some pretty cool rules. And then I just configured it so that it pointed to our field. So I changed all of the different fields that it originally had so that it would work with our data. So this rule is going to prevent you from updating or creating a street or a road center line that isn't in the master street name table. So it'll flag this error, full road name is not defined in the master street name table, when you try and create a road or update a road that's not in the master street name table. So we're gonna save. And then I also added in those other calculation rules into this already. They're the same that we already went over. It's just for the road center lines. So for the constraint rule, if it works properly, we should not be able to update this. Let's see. Yep, there you have this error, update table row failed, because it's not in the master street name table. So it'll prevent you from making those mistakes. And then last, I'm going to talk about validation rules. So this is kind of a newer concept. Before, you could only use validation rules in the enterprise environment. Now we can use it in a file geodatabase environment, which is pretty nice. And I'm going to import another rule. Validation rules, they're used with error layers, so that helps with the quality control for those. This is another rule that was pulled from the address data management solution. It's going to flag an error if there's an address point that's outside of the nearest road's valid range, is on the wrong side of the road. So if it's an even number and it's on the odd side of the road center line, then it's going to flag that error, as well as if it doesn't match the road's municipality or postal community. So I just already pre-configured it. So you're gonna click OK and save. And just really quickly, so we can, so I can show you some examples of using the error layers, I already pre-configured this rule here too. This is an address range overlap rule, and this is going to flag the road center lines if your address ranges are overlapping. We're also going to use that one. I've already made intentional errors in this area, so we're going to add in the error layers. Oh, yeah. So whenever you add in validation rules for the first time inside your project, the add error layers is grayed out. So you just want to close out of your project and go back in. Okay, now it should let me add the error layers. And then you see you have an option for the point errors, line errors, and the polygon errors. And then we're just going to navigate to the error inspector. And this is where you're going to evaluate your rules to see if those validation rules find any of those errors. And in this case, it did. If you can read the label, there is an overlap with these ranges. With the 399, 499, this goes to 403. So we're just going to fix that really quick. So we're just going to change this to 397. You have to update the other one, otherwise it's not going to get rid of the error. And there's what it looks like when you fix an error. We're going to ignore this one. This is just the test address point that I was messing with. If you can see this, the address number is outside of the road center line range. It looks like there's an extra 2 in there, so we're just going to get rid of that guy real quick. And then that error should also go away. So this one says, so this one's also one of the address does not match road errors, and it looks like this one is, oh, it has the wrong postal community. So it says Blair here when it should say Black River Falls. So we're just going to change that. Evaluate the rules. And it also got rid of that one. So, and then that leaves us with one more. This is Pierce Street, or 413 Pierce Street. If you see, these are all even numbers, which means that and this says the left side is even as well. So that means that this error triggered that it's on the wrong side of the road. So we're just going to change that to 414 and see if that gets rid of it. And it does. So we fixed all the errors.